Welcome to the Baller Boys podcast. They're all about sports, and more sports. And now, the Baller Boys, Mark and Shemaya.
Hello, and welcome back to the Baller Boys podcast. It's your boy, Mark, and I am not doing this alone. Joining me is the SOTB, the music man with the plan, Shemaya.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo.
Scooby snacks, ahoy, that's for sure. We have been eating our Scooby snacks, and so have you. Tune in every week. We are the Baller Boys. We release multiple episodes every week. We are all over social media. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're in the sky. We are in the air. We are everywhere. So just type in Baller Boys Podcast and tune in weekly. And we have special guests sometimes. So tune in for a little special voice that you may not have heard of before. So yeah, there's that. With that in mind, we're the Baller Boys, and today we're going to tackle a collapse harder than the Titanic, the Suns.
Yeah. The reason why I said Scooby-Doo is because where are you? Yeah. You just think I was going to do that, did you, man?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, because obviously Chris is not in the, he's not in the playoffs, man. And I'm not mad because we kind of said it last episode, discussing if the Suns had what it takes. And just like I was thinking, man, they were going to basically choke at the worst moments of the playoffs. And whether Chris had injury or whatever, it don't matter. He had it when he was with LA Clippers. He had it with Houston Rockets. So, yeah, I mean,
that's true.
He just chokes at the wrong time, man. It's not that he's a bad player. He just has this unfortunate, skill of, either getting injured or just not showing up when the team needs him to show up. Not that he doesn't play hard as a player, but he's just not consistent when it comes to playing in the playoffs. So, yeah, it's tough. I feel for the guy. I think he's going to obviously have more State Farm commercials, which I love his State Farm commercials. So, maybe he might want to get into film. I don't know. But I don't know.
He's got nothing else to do right now. So,
well, I just feel like I don't think he can ever be a player that can actually get a championship ring, but he will always be remembered as a great athlete. In other words, he's not a scrub. He's not terrible. But
like Charles Barkley.
Yeah, John Stockton, he's going to be a part of a crew of NBA players who they're great athletes. They're respectable as far as their gameplay. But unfortunately, man, he just couldn't get the job done. He couldn't get the ring.
Ouch. That hurts to hear that, man. And I think, and again, I had this feeling too after, by the way, we're going to get into the actual game itself because that was something to behold. And when we say a Suns collapse, this, we're talking about Chris right now, right? But this entire team collapsed in front of its fans in this game. But you brought up amazing points about Chris. I know we're going to get into the actual stats here in a little bit, but I don't think Chris is a great player anymore. I think he's a good player, but the injuries, like you mentioned in the postseason, have hurt his legacy. And I'm worried he's going to end up being one of these really good players that just doesn't end up winning a ring. And he has a lot of fighting spirit. He plays hard. The first half of this series, he played really well. There were some games where he scored 20 points, 28 points. So he did contribute during this series. But I think it was just the collapse itself that really put a damper on Paul's name in general. I mean, we already kind of knew about his injuries, and he played injured, and you have to give him props for going out there and toughing it out and not making it known to the media, especially. I thought that made him look better. But here's the thing, Shemaya, that doesn't excuse for how awful this Suns team was in this game. And I mean, I know you just talked about Chris, but are there any other thoughts before I run into the actual numbers for these players? Because you'll be surprised at just how shocking they are.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this in a, I guess you can say, very mono, chill, relaxed tone, because Devin really was a huge disappointment in that game. I mean, you talking about epic fail. I mean, this is probably something that's going to be a nightmare for his memory, like bag or, floppy disk or, jump drive or whatever, cloud. This is something that he probably won't be able to say anything. Like, there's nothing you can say that can make it better. Because he choked worse than Chris Paul. If Chris Paul choked, then he choked on a mountain. Because, I mean, how can you explain his gameplay? It was just absent. It was almost like he had an out-of-body experience and forgot to show up.
You know what's funny is, what you just said summarizes the entire team. Because I cannot believe even just role players on this Suns team vanished like Casper.
Well, they was in the
ghosts.
shade. They was just like, it's too hot in Arizona.
Yeah, the sun died or something.
They forgot to rise.
Burned out. Yeah, burned out.
They said, I was supposed to show up today.
It's game 7 in front of our home fans. Oops, I guess it's time to go to sleep.
Can you imagine you bought all those tickets? I mean, look at all those celebrities. I mean, if you saw the camera shots of the celebrities at the game, they all looked disgusted. Like, what? I just spent all this
I would
money.
demand a refund. Yeah.
Like, wow. I mean, embarrassing. Like, can you imagine you're the owner, right? And you're having a meeting the next day. Guys, let's just postpone this until August. Because that's embarrassing. What are you going to say?
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in a meeting? We just got blew the heck out, guys.
Yeah, on our home court in front of our fans. It's a game 7. We have great players. We have Chris Paul. We have Devin Booker, who's the best player on the team, by the way. And we'll get into some other names here. Actually, I want to just jump on this real quick because I'm glad you mentioned Booker because he crapped the bed bad. I mean, a lot of people are talking about Chris Paul, but Devin Booker
he thought he was covering with brown crayons. It was so bad.
Oh yeah, Booker. And here's the thing: Chris is playing on a quadriceps injury. I mean, what injury did Booker have? Nothing. He was just terrible.
And I know. It was weird.
Yeah. So let me just get into some numbers here. So no Suns player had over 12 points. Just let that sink in, Shemaya. Not even the role players, like the guys off the bench. No, I'll run through all these stat lines here, but the team shot 37.9%, which is really weird because they were down by 40 points at one point. So you would think the shooting percentage would have been a lot less than that. But Devin Booker, 11 points, 3 of 14, 0 of 4 from 3. Deandre Ayton, no one is talking about this guy's performance, but he was awful too. 5 points, 4 rebounds in 17 minutes. That is right. All-star center Deandre Ayton, one of the cornerstones of this franchise. And Chris Paul, 10 points, 4 assists, 4 of 8 from the field. Not good. As we just said, he played on a strained quad, but so you can kind of understand why he struggled. But again, that doesn't explain why the rest of this team just fell apart or just didn't even show up for the game, really. Michael Bridges, one of their young studs, 6 points, 3 of 11 shooting. Jay Crowder, one of their most important role players, 5 points on 2 of 9 shooting, 1 of 6 from 3. I mean, this is embarrassing, man.
I mean, it's proof why you don't want Chris Paul on your team if you're trying to get a championship.
Oh, wow. You think he's just like a bad luck charm at this point?
Well, he's definitely not a good luck charm. He's one of those players that you hope the best for, but the reality is it's just not going to happen. I mean, he's better off getting traded to Brooklyn Nets for Ben Simmons.
Oof. Yeah.
I mean, you can't make the argument that wouldn't be bad because, I mean, it's not like they won a championship, so why not?
Yeah, that's true. Hey, question about Chris Paul possibly being traded. Do you think the Clippers could try to make a swing to get Chris Paul back?
Nah, after what they saw in Arizona,
you don't think so?
That'd be stupid. He already lost with the Clippers. Why would they want to lose again?
You think a team wouldn't want to give him another shot?
I mean, every team that he's ever played for, they lost.
Oh yeah, I mean you're not wrong. Injuries too. Yeah, the injury bug just gets him at the worst possible time.
That would probably make Kawhi really want to leave.
Really?
It'd be cool if Kawhi went to the Brooklyn Nets. Him and KD will be a championship.
Unstoppable duo. Yeah. Also, where do you think Chris Paul could land, man? Like, what do you think is a good destination for him? It's got to be a team with stars.
Commercials, man.
Retirement?
Yeah, he needs to retire.
Oh, really? You think he doesn't have anything to contribute to a team?
Not for a championship level, no. He's better off. I'd rather see him as a coaching staff one day. But I think he should just go ahead and retire. He's not going to get a ring unless he's playing with LeBron James.
Interesting. So I think, and I agree with you, I think he's at the point where he has to play with a few extra stars. But I mean, they have to be like superstars, which is
LeBron
why,
James.
Exactly. Well, like LeBron and like,
LeBron.
I mean, you can, yeah. Well, like, I'm not even sure he can do it with just LeBron. I think he needs another star there, like AD. If he did go to the Lakers,
nah, him and AD would be hurt.
Oh yeah, at the same time. At the same time. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I say let's say he goes to the Clippers. What if Kawhi gets hurt again, or what if Paul George gets hurt again? Like Chris can't carry a team anymore.
I don't like him playing for the Clippers just because I feel like that's like
you don't want the Clippers to lose again.
It's going back to your ex, man. It's like you already lost. Why do we want to lose again?
Yeah, maybe the Lakers, but I mean AD's having issues with his health too. So I mean, even LeBron's missed some games this past season too.
I wouldn't hate the idea of him going to the Sixers.
I wouldn't hate that either. There's a lot of weapons over there.
Because he can help Embiid and get out of his way at the same time.
Yeah. And Harden's going to be there for a little bit too, I think. So
that would be an interesting team.
Yeah. I would really, I think Chris would definitely make that better because he's more of a ball distributor. And he's not at the point where he scores like 20 something points a game anymore. I think he's just more of like the passer, the guy who gets everyone into sync. And I think that's where he'd help Embiid and especially Harden, because Harden hasn't been the same player that he has in recent years. So I think Chris would really help him out. So I would like to see him with the Sixers. And the Sixers are in a strange place right now because, the Harden experiment hasn't worked out that well. They've been losing in like conference finals and during the playoffs these past like 3 or 4 years. And I'm sure they're dying to get over the hump. And I think a Chris Paul trade actually might do him some good. I'm sure there's some other good teams for him to go
to the East. I don't see him doing anything in the West. Nothing at all. He's better off going to like Chicago, Indiana, maybe Cleveland. But I'll stay away from Miami because they're basically a up and coming team that they don't want to mess up that.
Dude, Chris,
that they're doing.
I don't know. Chris in Miami would be kind of hot, pun intended.
Well,
I don't know, man. Jimmy Butler's looking like a superstar right now in the playoffs.
And that's my thing. I think he might mess it up.
Oh, okay.
He should go to a team where they can actually like build like around him. Well, see, that's the problem though. Like, are you going to build around? What is he? 37 now? I don't know.
You're going to build around like a 37-year-old point guard who is injury prone. That's the problem. Like you have to line him up next to some superstars or like just really good, consistent players who can stay healthy. That's the only problem I have with the Lakers actually is because Bron can't stay healthy like he used to. And AD can't stay healthy like he used to. They're both very good players when they play, but when those guys eventually get hurt, CP3 is going to have to carry the load and then he's going to eventually get hurt. So,
Yeah. I mean, not to change subjects, but real quick, I wouldn't be mad if LeBron went to 76ers.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw rumors about like potential trade options for
Imagine
LeBron.
him and Embiid playing together.
Oh, championship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if LeBron's healthy, yeah, championship. Both those guys have to be healthy, of course. But yeah.
That'd be wild.
Yes. It would be absolutely wild.
They'd probably be undefeated.
Oh, like never lose a game again.
Yeah.
Maybe they would probably finish as the number 1 seed. But yeah, I mean, but going back to the Suns here, I couldn't believe the score, man. Like the Mavs beat them 123-90 on the road. You got to give props to the Mavericks. Luka's a superstar. They, interestingly enough, they blew out the Suns in multiple games in this series. I mean, I knew the Mavs were really good at home, and they probably weren't going to give up any games at home, especially like as the series progressed because of how strong they performed in front of their fans. But I wasn't expecting them to just ball like this in Game 7. In the regular season, the Mavs were a top 10 defense, and they shot 56% overall and 48% from 3 against a top 3 defense in this game. That's crazy when you think about how awful the Suns played. Luka had 35 points, 10 rebounds, 12 of 19 field goals, 6 of 11 from 3. Jalen Brunson, throw this kid some roses, to the chagrin of all the Spurs fans, because Spurs fans aren't really Mavericks fans. So, and for good reason, there's understand fandoms out there, but Jalen Brunson deserves his roses. Dude is helping Luka by throwing up 20 burgers night in and night out. Scores 24 points on 11 of 19 shooting. And Spencer Dinwiddie, the best last name in the NBA, contributed 30 points on 11 of 15 shooting and 5 of 7 from 3. This dude was on fire. And it was interesting because he got his name with the Nets. And this was before, the whole Kyrie and KD thing really started to take shape, and he got traded, and now he kind of found a home here in Dallas. So props to the Mavericks for really showing up in this game and doing their thing. But the Suns, I haven't seen a loss like just a horrible like collapse like this in a long time. It was the
opposite of what they did literally the year before. I mean, if they look at where they were last year and they look at how they lost this year, it's an embarrassment. It really is. There's nothing else you can say about it other than, wow. It's like driving on vacation, right? To your destination, to your, amazing, wherever your spot is, right? And just before the first day of your vacation that you save all your money up for, right? You get a flat tire.
Oh.
And that vacation is cut off. That was basically the Suns, man. They were about to go to their destination, which was the finals. And oops, we got flat tires. But they didn't have one. They had all 4 flats.
Yeah. I mean, the car blew up at that point.
They probably did. They didn't get out the neighborhood.
They didn't get far.
They just pulled out the driveway.
Yeah, like the car just forgot to have an engine installed in it, and they just thought they were gonna...
I thought you meant, the car forgot his engine in the garage.
I mean, I bet the owners forgot to put the engine in the car before they rolled it out.
That's terrible.
Going downhill, just like that Game 7. But this was just wild. I couldn't believe this really happened. I mean,
well, no one thought it'd be like this though. Like I would have thought they lost by like maybe 4 or 10 points. But this was like bizarre. It was almost like either A, they gave up, or 2, they just had an off night with shooting. I don't know. I just feel like it was a borderline giving up versus it was just an off night for shooting.
It felt like
they could get nothing in. It was almost like they was making mansions of bricks.
Yeah. But I mean, but where's the coaching though? Like the coaching has to go in there and make the adjustments. The other teammates like Booker's struggling.
But that's the key.
He's injured. Deandre has to go out there and contribute. The other guys have to go out there and contribute. you know?
Well, I was going to say, that's the key. What we witnessed was the very fact the coaching was far better for Dallas. And we saw the evidence of that. Because if you think about it, the coach for Dallas, he has an interesting history. And Jason is probably the best coach for Dallas at this moment. Because I know I'm going for the Warriors, right? Mm-hmm. But Jason can probably give Steve a run for his money. If there were anybody else in the league that can do it, it'll be Jason for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
And that's my point. I think that's what happened in the Suns game. He just outcoached them like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you could also attribute the fact that, I mean, because we just talked about, you know, maybe it was just the possibility of one of those nights, and it came at the worst possible time. One of those nights where the whole team was just terrible. Like, you know, there's one game out of the season where you just have everything goes wrong. But then on the opposite end of the spectrum with the Mavericks, everything just went right for them. You got Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench, scoring 30 points. He wasn't missing like anything for a while. And then you got Luka doing the Luka thing, and then Dallas's defense stepping up. And yeah, I mean, you got to give props, like you said. I'm glad you mentioned Jason Kidd, because the Mavericks and the Celtics were the two hottest teams after the trade deadline. And it makes sense that both of those teams are still in the finals picture.
Because I remember in the game, because they always have like a hot mic for the coaches when they're in timeout talking to the players.
Oh, God, you watched the game?
Well, I stopped watching after this statement because Jason Kidd said something interesting. I'm going to paraphrase it, but I'm just going to summarize what his message was. His message to the team after they were up like more than 15, 20 points, right? 20-ish points, whatever. His message was basically, don't let your foot off the gas. Like, keep going. He said, basically, like, don't let them, like, think that you're just going to get comfortable. Because he was basically saying to the team, don't think that they can sneak back in and try to make a comeback. So with that statement, Luka is smiling the rest of the game like, yeah, don't even think about it. Nah, you're not invited to the finals. Like, your exit is coming up in like less than 12 minutes. So, yeah, enjoy what it's like playing basketball because, yeah, you're not going to be here for the finals. And I think Jason Kidd, when he motivated his team to basically like, don't take your foot off the gas, I really think that he's helped them reach a new level of confidence. Not that Luka needed, but his teammates needed to really be like, oh, we actually can be the story of this season. That everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people did not see coming. I didn't see Dallas doing what they were going to do right now.
Oh, me neither.
I thought it was going to be good, but I didn't think they'd be this good.
Yeah, like I expected them to be like 4th, 5th seed, which they did end up getting, but I didn't expect them to make such a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, Luka snapped, but I think the head coach, Jason Kidd, literally boosted the confidence of all the players in such a way where he's like, don't even let the other side smell any fear. Like, basically play ball. Play like you own the court. Play like they need to apologize for even trying to play you. And I feel like his way of coaching, not to be off topic, I think he can give a run for the money of Steve or almost forgot, but I didn't forget the Warriors. Because here's the thing. There was a tweet, I don't know who did it, but it was floating around. I don't know if you saw it. But it was basically like a picture of Steve basically saying, it's like a quote. The biggest thing I remember about Jason was just the overwhelming speed and force, brilliant player. And then there's a picture of Jason saying, I remember facing Steve. He had Michael Jordan. And I don't know if that was recent or if that was just like perfect timing just to get started for the series. But I'm tying this back to say Jason Kidd is basically on a hunt. And I think he's smelling the opportunity to get a chip. Now, I picked the Warriors, but to reflect this to the context of this interview, this episode that we're talking about with the Suns and Dallas Mavericks, with Jason and Luka together, I think they only have one thing on their mind right now, and that's to get a championship. Because if you think about it, this is the perfect time to do it. You know, because you can really shock everybody. Because they will shock me because I'm going for the Warriors. But they will shock me if they do the Warriors like they did the Suns. Not on that level of 30-point blowout, but just on the level that they demand, right? Dominance throughout the series.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting to see because I feel like Jason Kidd kind of reflects his team, you know, in Luka's ambitions of like going out there with something to prove. And we all knew Luka has been a superstar for a while now, but I think Jason Kidd was really motivated to make this work and get his teammates and his pieces together and find that chemistry to win and just get the best out of this squad. And I think he has. And just to see how far he's gone, I mean, at this point with how well coached and how on fire this team is, I mean, we could see this series against the Warriors. Yeah, we could see this series go 7. I mean, they could beat the Warriors.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they'll sweep them at all because Steph and them have too much pride. But it can literally be a game 7, right? Just like deja vu with the Suns. And Luka can be like, oh, today I'm going to score 50 points. That's what I see. Not that I want that to happen, because like I said, I really want the Warriors to win it all because, you know, I think they can prove that they're still the team to beat or whatever. But, man, if Luka, I think he's the secret weapon. If he goes piping hot, the Warriors are going to struggle, in my opinion. But I don't think they'll get blowout like the Suns, because they have too many weapons on that team that can step up and score. One of them, Jordan Poole. But it'll be very interesting, the attitude of Luka after this high of basically tearing down, dismantling the number 1 seed, the Suns.
Yeah. Yeah, the confidence is sky high for sure.
Because he's like, man, who are y'all? We just beat the number 1
Yeah, we just beat the number 1 team in the league, actually. They had the best record in the league and just took them down in front of their home fans in a game 7.
Someone said it good on the broadcast announcers. They were like, they took them out to the shed and gave them a beat down.
Yeah.
But they did the shed in front of the whole millions of people watching on TV.
Yeah, I think easily the Mavericks going into the conference finals, I think they're the team with the most confidence going in out of all 4 teams remaining. Yeah. And again, like the Warriors were just briefly, they have great stories too. You mentioned Poole, Curry's still amazing. Clay is in his comeback story right now. And they're not a perfect team either, but they have a lot of talent, and you know this series is going to be good as well. But
if Clay touched the ball more this series, I think he's going to get hot.
Oh yeah, well, what was it in the last game against Memphis? He scored 40 points or something
like that,
30 or 40. Yeah, Clay was
Chris
Clay.
Paul.
Yeah, well, he's Chris Paul only had 10 points in Game 7, but. Yeah. But yeah, man, I think we covered the Suns' collapse pretty well here. Again, it was just stunning. No one expected them to get blown out. I think people could have seen Dallas maybe squeaking the win in Game 7 because Chris Paul had been struggling a little bit in the series, and there was some drama, you know, with the fans and Chris Paul's family. So, you know, there was that looming over the team too. But yeah, I was not expecting them to just get like stomped on like this. And it's too bad. The Suns organization is very good. The team management's very good. This roster is very good. Chris Paul's still a very good player. And it's just a shame that this loss is just going to further hurt and tarnish his legacy. And hopefully he gets a ring somewhere. And we really hope for the best. He's still a good player. Like, so no one starts saying, oh, flush him down the toilet or get him out of the NBA or retire now. I mean, no. He's still got juice, but he's got to be around the right pieces. And the Suns just signed him last season to an extension. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And hopefully Chris can just stay healthy and the Suns team can bounce back, because it would be a real shame. And I think this team has some sort of curse over it, but it'd be a real shame if they can't figure it out and win a championship with this roster.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Chris Paul can always go a gumball machine and get a ring, but likelihood of that happening in the NBA is very far away.
Yeah, true that. Well, Shemaiah, I think we wrapped this collapse up pretty well. Thank you all for joining us on this episode of the Baller Boys podcast. We have new episodes out every week, multiple episodes. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, on Spotify, everywhere that you use to listen to podcasts. We got you covered, man. And follow us on Twitter. We like to post some funny stuff. We retweet some funny stuff too. So if you're into sports, if you're into humor, give us a follow. Follow me at Mark the MC, MARKTH, 3 3s, no E's, capital M, capital C. Shemaiah, hit him with your handle.
Shemaiah on the BT is where you find me, man.
There you go. You heard the man with the plan. And you got me, Mark. And tune in next time when we talk about your favorite sports, and more sports with a twist of humor. Tell your mom, tell your grandma. Peace out.